Hey everybody, welcome back. And this time we will have a class about reactions. Which kind of reactions do we have? Do you want to know more? Let's hit it one running. So the first part or the main concept that you gotta recall or that you gotta know is a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is when the bonds that are component the matter are broken, right? The bonds are broken by an external force. In the physics reaction, the bonds are not broken, right? Teacher, but perhaps I don't understand it. What is a bond? So, do you want to know what is a bond about? Please stay with me. Bond is a chemical force, it's a chemical force, also called to be a physical force, right? That remains together the matter. That force that binds or connects the electrons, protons, neutrons, and other particles, right? The bond is like a nuclear force, right? Because it's the force responsible for having together the matter and the particles, right? Then, for instance, if I have this O oxygen, I can have all kind of oxygen, right? Liquid oxygen, gas, form of gas, and solid oxygen, right? For instance, it's just for instance. Then I kind of have these kinds. Then the first part is that the physics, I can change the matter states and it won't be a chemical reaction because the element is the same. Different states or forces. Bonds aren't broken. Teacher, then if the bonds are not broken, it's a physical. But if the bonds are broken, it's chemical. It does make sense. It does make sense. So perhaps you have some questions. If you have some questions, comment them on the comments below. I will be more than glad to help you out. So if you have liked this video, give me my thumb up, right? So record this reaction, chemical reactions. The bonds are broken. The bonds that remains together, they matter. Then let's record let's do this exercise, right? Potassium and mixing with the chlorus. If I am mixing the chlorus with the potassium, I get the chlorine potassium, right? What do you think? It's a chemical or it's a physical? Record this. The physics is just one element, right? Here, oxygen, one element. If I mix the element, I am mixing the bonds, right? Here, for instance, in this case, the potassium mix it with the chlorus. What do I get? The chlorine potassium. Is this different than this? Yes. Is product of this? Yes. And this symbol, that is the delta symbol, it will mean heat, right? You need heat to make this or to deploy this, to have this, okay? Initial energy. Then we have to have this clear, right? This is chemical reaction because the bonds are broken. Here we are breaking the naturalness of this and the nature of this, and we are mixing both, and we are getting this. I am mixing. If I am mixing, it's chemical. If the bonds are broken, chemical. If I am mixing something, chemical. If the bonds are broken, chemical. If I am analyzing just one element, physical. If I am changing the element states, such as liquid, gaseous, such as solid, such as more, physics. Then, as a friend reminder, a physics event is when you are able to change the matter without change the bonds, right? You can affect the bonds, but you cannot break the bonds, right? If you are breaking the bonds, it means that you're combining more than one particle, right? So if you want to if you want to know what is the main difference between chemical and physical reaction, is the bonds. And about if I am mixing something, chemical reaction. If I am breaking the bonds, chemical reaction. If I am just analyzing, or I am just manipulating one element, physical reaction. If I am not breaking the bonds, physical reaction. And teacher, what is the bond about? Bond is a chemical or a physical reaction, a force that remains together the matter. The force that binds the electrons, protons, neutrons, and other particles. Then, how to moving on with our knowledge that we need to acquire. So the next concept that we need to understand, to grasp, is the concept. What do you think? It's endothermic and exothermic, right? Because when you're breaking bonds, what is the energy going? What do you think? Could it be the energy could be destroyed, or could it be created? No, teacher, it could be just transformed. So now let's figure it out. What is happening here? And we have to have a concept, something clear. Initial energy versus final energy. Initial energy, final energy. Initial energy, final energy. Initial energy, final energy. Greater, minus, greater or less than, greater, less than, greater, less than. If initial energy is greater than final energy, endothermic. If the initial energy is less than the final energy, exothermic. And that is something logic, right? Because if I got this, right? And the initial energy is greater than the final energy. The input is greater than the output. Input greater than the output is the same concept, right? It will input greater than the output, endothermic. Input less than output, exothermic. Oh, initial energy less than final energy. If the final energy is greater, hear me out, please. If the final energy is greater than the initial energy, will be an exothermic energy. It will be an exothermic process. So you already know what I'm trying to mean, right? Initial energy, if the initial energy is greater than the final energy, is endothermic. If the final energy is greater than the initial, is exothermic. It's how PCPCK. It's not rocket science, right? So if you got some questions, please don't hesitate to ask them on the comments below. I will be more than glad to help you out. And give my thumbs up if you have liked this video. See you in the next video and record this. It's Miller time.